Hey guys, I got a lot of questions asking if I still think residential is best for our business as compared to commercial properties. I recently did a video on us picking up a new commercial account, and it just kind of created a lot of questions as to, are we doing more commercial work now? Am I sticking more with residential? And I wanted to address that in the video. Let's real quickly talk about the pros of residential and the pros of commercial, and let's just kind of just run down the list and see what is right for your business, because the truth is there is not a correct answer for every business. I'm going to preface this video by saying I do think the majority of guys who have lawn care businesses and are starting out should focus on residential work, and there's a few reasons for that we'll discuss. But we're going to kind of just lay out some pros and cons really quickly, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Number one, profit margins in residential work as compared to commercial work. Profit margins are better in residential, period. And if they're not better for you in residential, you're simply pricing the residential work incorrectly. The commercial work is typically very, very competitive. It is a race to the bottom a lot of times. And I've just found that with the right residential properties, you can really get a much higher rate as far as profit margins go as compared to commercial work. So first thing, profit margin, we're going to give the edge to residential work. All right, the second one, and this is a big one, is risk diversification, okay? Think if you had 5 really, really big accounts. Let's say you had 5 $50,000 accounts. So what's that come out like? $250,000, right? Now, to get $250,000 from a residential lawn mowing route, like you need 200 clients, right? So the trade-off is this: with those commercial accounts, though you only have 5 clients, if you lose one, I mean, you've lost 20% of your business. Whereas with the residential, to lose 20% of your clients in residential, you really got to be screwing things up. I like to think of it like the stock market, where you have mutual funds that have a bunch of companies in them, rather than just investing all your money into one company. So that's my mindset on risk diversification. And you guys always know that I err on the side of caution. I'm a little more conservative than a lot of people here at my business. And I just think there's really something to be said for having a lot of accounts, because it just diversifies you and kind of protects you from just losing 1 or 2 big accounts and really, really hurting your business. So risk diversification, the check mark definitely goes to residential there. All right, seasonal fluctuations. I think the check mark has to go to commercial properties in this. Commercial properties, they are typically year-round. They want you on that property all year long, and it's guaranteed income. Whereas with residential, at least in my market, folks are they're just really not interested in you coming to their properties whenever there's not a whole lot to be done during the winter. But with those commercial properties, man, those seasonal fluctuations, those challenges that we have in the lawn care industry, they are drastically minimized, because again, you're on a contract with those folks. They want you there at that property, a couple times a month, trash pickup, blowing the parking lot, just all that stuff. Okay, so I definitely think as far as consistency goes throughout the seasons, commercial definitely gets the edge there. Next is ease of customer service. And frankly, it'd be a lot easier to deal with 5 really big commercial clients than it would be to deal with 250 residential homeowners. I mean, your point of contact is like 5 people if you have just 5 big accounts that are commercial accounts. There's just a lot less hand-holding with commercial work. And in residential, if you got 250 people that you're managing and kind of just, and again, we're just using an example here, guys. We're trying to do apples to apples comparison. 5 $50,000 accounts or 250 $1,000 accounts. But the point being, it's just a lot more difficult to manage the 250 accounts than it is to just manage the 5 accounts. So ease of customer service, that definitely goes to commercial property. Efficiency. Okay, this is debatable, but I'm going to give the edge to commercial property, okay? And the reason is this: a lot of times on a big commercial property, I mean, you're going there and you're spending all day. Now we do something similar to the neighborhoods that we service in residential work, which allows us to really do well in residential. But man, if you're going to a commercial property and it takes your guys all day to do it, or maybe a couple days to do it, there's no drive time. It is all billable hours, and that is wonderful. So as far as efficiency goes, I'm going to say, man, if you got some commercial work where it really takes you a good portion, of your week to do, there's really something to be said for that. And that's a lot of the time, that's the reason why margins can be lower in commercial work. Next, and this is a big one, is payment terms. And frankly, the edge goes to residential because I just absolutely call the shots with residential. In residential work, we just require the card on file and that's it. With commercial accounts, there's a lot more negotiating that goes on there. Typically, I am negotiating an upfront payment for the month. Most commercial properties are not doing card on file. They have some type of payment processing center, and the best that you can hope for is to be paid up front for the work to be performed that month. Okay, that is ideal scenario, but again, you really gotta kind of sweet talk them to make that happen. Typically, you're working and you are sending the invoice at the end of the month, and God forbid that goes to just some third party accounting firm that has a net 30 on that ticket, and then it's you've done work for 60 days, and that is a nightmare. So payment terms, definitely easier. Cash flow is much better, much faster in residential work. So residential gets the edge for cash flow and payment terms. Okay, we're getting near the end. Hang with me though. I'm going to give you some good information at the end. All right, customer loyalty. Okay, it goes to residential. At least for me, I've just found if you do a really, really good job for folks, form a relationship with them, I tell you what, people will pretty much stay loyal to you. Okay, commercial work, maybe not so much. Just by company policy, they're having to get 3 bids usually every year or whenever the agreement runs out. It's just policy. It is what it is. So they got to sit down and review everybody's bid. They got to take it before the board of directors or whoever is running the organization. They all sit down, and all these guys, they have a vote and a say on who they think needs to be. So then they start looking at price and, well, this guy does it for this price, and you just kind of have to go through that every single year. So I just feel like commercial work, there's a lot less loyalty. Again, it's just by the nature of it, having to rebid things out every so often. Residential work definitely gets the edge for customer loyalty. Okay, next is length of agreement or service agreement contracts. Commercial definitely gets the edge there. You can do residential agreements, but are you really going to take somebody to court over $1,000, for them, skipping lawn service during the winter? No, probably not. Okay, but if you secure a big commercial account and you got a $50,000 contract, well, they will take that a little bit more seriously. Yeah, so it's guaranteed work, and many times those service agreements, you can negotiate a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal. So you have guaranteed work for 3 years, whereas with residential, you'd be fired at the whim, of somebody coming along for a few dollars cheaper. So having an extended period of time where you are guaranteed the work, commercial work definitely gets the edge for that. What are my final thoughts? Should you focus primarily on commercial, or should you just do all residential? What's the best thing? Most everybody is going to say, it depends. And I hate when people do that. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I think is right for most people. For most, not everybody, but for most people, okay? Here it is. My final thoughts are that you need to have a mix of both, but it needs to be skewed towards residential work. And here's why. Namely, in residential work, the margins are higher. The risk is diversified across many clients. You have an opportunity to be on 250 clients' properties who all need extra stuff done. Risk diversification, the opportunity to do upsells to clients and then higher profit margins, residential definitely gets the edge for me. However, there are definite advantages to commercial work. Typically, the work is year-round. It is guaranteed income for an extended period of time. And with just a few good commercial accounts, it can really give your business a nice injection of cash. If you're just starting your lawn care business, or maybe you're getting a business going, I really feel like an 80-20 split between residential and commercial, or a 70-30 split between residential and commercial would be a good percentage for each of those. I just don't like the idea of putting too much work into commercial and then having too much of my income tied up in 1 or 2 big accounts. I'd much rather that risk be spread out across a bunch of accounts in residential. And then by adding a few really nice commercial accounts, it gives you a good injection of cash. But if you lose those, it's not a big deal. If you lose a big commercial account, but you have a bunch of residential work, it doesn't really matter. But if you lose a big commercial account and you don't have a lot of residential work, that really matters. Get yourself a mix of both, but focus primarily on residential.